Again, Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deardorff, Super Bowl 29. 49ers have marched down the field twice. They were countered by a long San Diego drive to make it 14-7. And now as we begin period number 2, it's a 1st and 10 for the 49ers at the 15-yard line. Ricky Waters splits to the left. And Jerry Rice comes in motion. Lloyd stays in the block. Young throws to Rice, and he's tackled by Darian Gordon after a minimal gain. Pickup of 3. Our exclusive coverage of the Super Bowl is being brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. For all you do, this Bud's for you. And Lee Apparel with new styles and colors. You'll like the way you look in Lee, the brand that fits.
Bill Arnsparger took a chance there, came up the middle with the double blitz. It was handled by San Francisco, and Darian Gordon, Frank, with a good tackle.
And this is the territory where you've got to cover number 84, Brent Jones. This is where he likes to work, the big tight end. 2nd and 7. And Floyd in motion, Reuben Davis came across the line. Reuben Davis picked up as a free agent from the Phoenix Cardinals.
It wasn't exactly an explosive 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Not exactly an explosive move by Reuben off the ball, but I guess once you get 320 pounds going, like a ship, it just has its own momentum, and it's tough to stop it. Reuben coming over from Arizona. Most yards gained in a quarter. Washington against Denver and San Diego in January of 83, 56. They scored 5 touchdowns that day. San Francisco in the first quarter here today, 193, 3rd most. Floyd takes it down to the 5-yard line, fighting his way forward. He is stopped there by Dennis Gibson.
And he's real close to a 1st down.
Gibson making that stop. Dennis Gibson, as much as anybody else, the reason that the San Diego Chargers and not the Pittsburgh Steelers are here today. And again, he's one of Bobby Beathard's 4 unprotected free agents that came over. Reuben Davis, we talked about him a moment ago. David Griggs was also there, part of that unprotected free agent crop, as was Dwayne Harper, the cornerback, and they all start with Bobby Beathard on the right. Gibson knocking down that pass from O'Donnell intended for Foster that sent San Diego here. 3rd and inches, and Young tries to turn his shoulders and angle his way. Ooh, very close.
Steve Young, one of the best quarterback sneaking QBs in the league because of his sense of being able to feel the softness in there and get a 1st down. There just wasn't much softness there. The penetration belonged that time to the guys in the white shirts, the defensive line of the Chargers. He didn't have to go very far, though. We're talking about just a couple of inches. And they're going to bring in the sticks and take a close look at this one. He looks to the left, then tries to come back to the right. He goes low. And in that situation, it is awful hard to not pick up more than a couple inches. You can see they got the nose of the ball onto the 5. You can't hesitate either, I doubt. And he took a look to the left, as you pointed out, tried to take it to the right. That changes things dramatically. It's just your offensive line has to get beaten so badly to not pick up a couple of inches on a quarterback's sneak. Somehow the center has to get really blown back off the ball, and it doesn't happen all that often. 1st down, 13:50 remaining in the 1st half, 14-7, 49ers. 1st and goal from the 5. Young to Floyd, touchdown. Bar none. That's what they call him. He says, I'm the best fullback in the league, bar none. Why is it that the 49ers get 3 rookie starters on their football team, and all 3 of them look like experienced veterans? William Floyd, Lee Woodall, and Bryant Young.
Floyd from Florida State. You got Woodall from Westchester State. I didn't talk about him, but Bryant Young is from Notre Dame.
David Griggs, the linebacker from San Diego, is the guy that had the coverage. He's number 92 there on the left side of your screen. He's going to come in, but he's just late to get to William Floyd, and then the tackle's not made, and hey, guess what? 3 possessions, 3 49er touchdowns.
3 extra points for Brian. William Floyd trying to go from a national championship at Florida State last year to a world title with the 49ers. And his club is up 21-7. 49ers, 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns, Doug Bryan to kick off.
To win this game, San Diego's going to need a big special teams play.
Somewhere along the line, a yard into the end zone, brings it back out to the 19. He's given them some big plays this season as Coleman. He scored 2 touchdowns on returns, and let's get a word from Leslie Visser. Leslie?
Al, the 49ers decided to come into this game and script the first 15 plays. As you mentioned, they scored 3 touchdowns in those 17 plays. A lot of Ricky Waters at wideout, but for Mike Shanahan, quite a script.
Quite an offensive coordinator as well, and a big story. And we'll detail that with Mike Shanahan before this night is done.
They've been doing that under this man for many years, and Bill Walsh before that. Mike Shanahan went to a clinic with him in college. That's where he picked up the routine.
Mike Shanahan, a much sought after coach, and Humphreys gets sacked against Dana Stubblefield, came bursting through, and Jerry Rice is going back to the locker room.
They were looking at his left shoulder on the sidelines while we were away, and you remember he took the shot from Darian Gordon on that reverse a short while ago, went back to play, but now I think they want to take a better look at it. That was a line stunt by Dana Stubblefield that time, and it just wasn't handled very well by the Chargers' offensive line. Stan Humphreys had no chance whatsoever, and as soon as we hear anything on Jerry Rice, we'll let you know.
8-yard sack, 2nd and 18 from the 11. And they keep it on the ground, and Natron Means probes the middle, but nothing is there for him. So 3rd and very long. And let's go back and take a look at the hit that sends Jerry Rice back to the locker room.
Remember, it was on the near sideline. It was number 21, Darian Gordon, the cornerback for the Chargers. Here comes a hit. Jerry lowers his shoulder, but he takes the shot. He does block some of it with his left arm. And keep in mind that this is a guy that's never missed a game due to injury. We asked Jerry Rice, can he ever remember even being hurt? He said, yeah, I remember one time I had a thigh bruise back in college.
3rd and 17, and Humphreys protected well, guns it, and it's fortunate it wasn't picked off by Tyrone Drakeford.
Good coverage of the secondary, and you're right, Al, that one could have been picked off so easily, and Stan Humphreys just trying to get rid of it, throw it out of bounds, and almost lost it. Well, 3 and out is definitely not good news for your defensive team. It puts them right back on the field. And this is a defensive football team now for San Diego that has to be completely shell-shocked.
And 3 and out deep in their own territory. Wagner sends it down to the 43-yard line. And it's Dexter Carter coming to the outside and taken down. Good coverage on the play as the tackle is made by Shannon Mitchell.
Maybe San Diego defensively can get some spirit and some good feelings by Jerry Rice not being out there with the 49ers.
The San Francisco 49ers have been unstoppable so far. 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns. They'll take it. San Diego needs somebody to step up now defensively. Junior Seau has hardly had his name mentioned at this point.
You know, they'll have to get away from that zone. They're laying back there very soft, and they're going to have to do something to make something happen. It's not going to come from that bend to don't break defense. Everybody knew it coming into the game that there was no way they could play their passive defense. Young goes deep on him right away.
And it's a little overthrown. Coverage was decent. John Taylor was the intended receiver, and Steve frustrated with himself.
The one thing with the 49ers offensively, I think defensively you sit back and you're in awe of them. And granted, they do take away you being able to do some things because they have talent all over the field, both wide receivers, the tight end, the running back. But the worst thing you can do is be passive. You can't wait for the game to happen in front of you and then hope that you make that first tackle. You got to take chances. Without taking chances, the Chargers are dead, and you cannot miss that first tackle. No, but they must gamble.
It is 2nd down and 10, and it's critical to stop the 49ers here. They get to stop him as McCaffrey, who's playing now because Rice is being worked on, and it is a shoulder sprain. It's being iced right now in the locker room. That's why Jerry's back there. McCaffrey is in. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
McCaffrey with 11 receptions on the season came as a free agent after the Giants let him go. He was a 3rd-round pick of the Giants in '91. He's big. He's from Stanford. He's 6'5" and weighs about 215. We'll see a lot of him and probably Nate Singles in number 88. And here comes a monster play for San Diego's defense.
3rd down and 5 at the 49. Looking to the eyes of Junior Seau. Lays back and pass protection. It's deflected and incomplete. McCaffrey couldn't hold on. Almost picked off. David Griggs was there.
One that could have been caught by the 6'5 McCaffrey, but it had an awful lot on it. Very uncharacteristic of Steve Young. He just smoked that in there, and McCaffrey would have been close to the first down, but he just shipped that in there. Very difficult for McCaffrey to hold on. And we will see the first punt of the day for the 49ers. Here it is again. There's McCaffrey. The ball, he was there. It was high and behind him. It was not a very good throw by Steve Young.
Klaus Wilmsmeyer has one of the cushiest jobs in America. The punter for the 49ers.
He scored more touchdowns than he punted, right?
It's fielded at the 18-yard line by Darian Gordon. The coverage is great. The kick pinned him against the sideline. The crowd wants a flag for a late hit. Kevin Mitchell was there for the coverage. No mark. 10:30 remaining in the opening half in Miami. A 14-point 49er lead. Of the half, it's Disney's Indiana Jones' latest adventure, the Temple of the Forbidden Eye on the Doritos Super Bowl halftime show. Well, the Chargers did what they had to do defensively. Now let's see what they can do offensively. First and 10 from the 18-yard line. They were able to stop San Francisco, and now they begin this drive with Nate Rodney who dragged back from behind. Ricky Jackson, the longtime Saint, came for a small salary, got a huge bonus when they made it to the Super Bowl and playing in the big show for the first time. Flag down.
You wouldn't think that a guy like Ricky Jackson, after 14 years in the league, still has that kind of foot speed, especially for a pretty good-sized guy, but he chases this thing down all the way. Came from the short side, a guard and a tackle on that side. He's been around enough to read that, the H-back leading the play.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 73, offense. After the play was over, 15-yard penalty, and the down count. It'll be half the distance to the goal.
Oh, that does hurt. That is a costly penalty on Isaac Davis. Here's Ricky Jackson. They're outside the tackle. When the tackle comes down, he just pursues behind it. Isaac Davis came around and made a good block on the play, and then afterwards gets involved in something that gets a flag tossed. And the biggie there is you not only have the yardage, but the good play by Jackson stands. That's Carl Mock, the offensive line coach of the San Diego Chargers. So you not only have a loss of yardage, but actually a loss of down as well.
Second and 19 now. Humphreys going deep. The coverage is good, though. It looked as if somebody threw something, but it wasn't a flag.
Lewis had to mark
right where he might have caught the ball.
Al, your call was Humphreys going deep. Humphreys was going deep into the end zone, flat on his back, courtesy of Dana Stubblefield. Stan under tremendous pressure trying to find somebody open.
And even under that kind of pressure, he was very careful. He was not going to turn it over. He threw that ball where only his man could take it. This is what you spoke of a moment ago. And he laid it up high, and Stubblefield unloaded on it.
Well, he beats the rookie, Isaac Davis, to the inside. Not a good series here for young Mr. Davis.
Not so far. Third down and 19. Humphreys throwing out of the end zone, and it's incomplete. The Niners secondary doing a terrific job. Pafuna was the intended receiver, and it's fourth down again. So risky business for Stan Humphreys. Close to a two-pointer. Had a lot of presence. Knew where he was not going to throw the interception. Threw it in the direction of the receiver, and avoided the two.
Boy, credit the 49ers. Stan Humphrey must have held that football for 7 seconds at least, and still couldn't find anybody to throw it to. What a job of coverage by the 49ers.
Brian, and that one made contact with a 49er, but look at that roll, and it will turn out to look pretty good on the stat sheet. Adam Walker was rushing the kicker and may have gotten a hand on it, but the Chargers get away with one there. Despite the deflection, that kick is 40 yards late. As Walker, great special teams player for the 49ers, gets a hand on it.
Here's Adam Walker right here. He's going to be turned completely loose, and he comes in and he does get a hand on the football. Unbelievably, they just let him go, and he does deflect the football, and I've never seen a deflected ball travel farther than that.
41 yards officially as William Floyd takes it down to the 46.
How do you get a 41-yard punt when it's tipped?
Meanwhile, Jerry Rice has come back onto the field and has come back into the game. So Rice missed the series. They iced his shoulder. Back he comes. And when Jerry was in there, the 49ers marched 59, 79, and 70 yards to their 3 scores. Second and 7 at the 46. 9 minutes to go in the half. 21-7, San Francisco. Young guns it to Jones, and the tight end makes the catch at the 39-yard line, and it should be enough for a first down. Let's get the update on Jerry Rice and Leslie Visser.
Al, Jerry just sat in his chair for about 5 or 10 minutes. He had tape on him, and they put some extra padding. He says he's ready to go. Al.
Okay, Jerry Rice, who, well, by the time he's finished, will not only own most regular season receiving marks, but a lot of Super Bowl records as well. He's already won 1 Super Bowl MVP award. He was hugely instrumental in another San Francisco Super Bowl victory. From the 39-yard line, going to the man, and it's broken up by Darian Gordon.
Boy, it was a good read and a good change at the line of scrimmage by Steve Young. And Rice splitting the coverage. The ball hanging just a little bit, and let's take a look now again. He drives to the inside. He set up to the inside, and Darian Gordon completely turned around, got back into it. And the second-year man out of Stanford, first-year pick a year ago, makes a good play. And it was a good read. He spins him clear around, and Young a little slow in getting it to it. I would have to say that when Jerry Rice spins the corner all the way around, 99 times out of 100, that's a completed pass. That ball was late getting there from Young.
Second and 10, and he fires a slant over the middle. It's caught by Jerry Rice. They've run that play a million times, seemingly, with probably a 90% success rate.
People, I don't think, realize how many of the 49er passes are such quick rhythm and really just 5-yard completions. All week long, the 49ers, the Chargers rather, have had a saying, 5-yard pass, 6-yard gain. They are really emphasizing that we must make the tackle and we must make it on the spot of the reception. At times tonight they have.
On the 27-yard line, Taylor makes the catch after Young had to check off. A nice coverage there by Harper.
A perfect example of the 49er passing attack right there. It's just how many times have we seen John Taylor turn that into a big play.
Of course, it begins right there with this man, Steve Young. He reads it so well, and he's in such good sync with Mike Shanahan, the offensive coordinator, who is now so thoroughly familiar with this offense and what Young can do. But make no mistake about it, this Steve Young's team, he even admitted down here this year, this is my team. But he is so good at the read, coming off one receiver, finding the net. Leading the league in passing for a 4th consecutive season. Second and 6. Rolling left. Oh, what a move by Jerry Rice again. Takes it to the 15-yard line. That's a first down. Ran around Briggs.
Well, what presence too? He knew he went right into the turf, avoided taking another shot, but he also knew he had the first down. That was a 5-yard pass, but it was not a 6-yard gain.
We'll roll out now
On the part of Steve Young as he throws out to the left. Rice with a lot of presence, knowing where he had to get for the first down.
And a little moisture for the first time tonight.
Well, it's late in arriving. It has been predicted all day. It was raining on the west coast of Florida 4 or 5 hours ago, and they thought it would get here before now.
Here's Floyd. The rookie pulls his way down to the 9-yard line. He's tackled there by Junior Seau and Stanley Richards.
Floyd came out of as a #1 draft pick from Florida State, rated as one of the best blockers in the collegiate game, and he also had rushed for well over 300 yards. We saw him catch a touchdown pass earlier. Well, Floyd has added such a dimension to this San Francisco offense. He brings a punishing running style, power between the tackles, and such a huge addition to their offense.
Second and 4 from the 9-yard line. Ricky Waters fights his way down to the 8-yard line. He's wrapped up there by Chris Mims.
The two, Floyd and Ricky Waters, have complemented each other so much. They're like a cheering squad for each other. When you talk with them, they're so, and they want the other to do so well, yet they're the kind of player that wants the football all the time. Well, Ricky was just delighted to find a teammate who's as hyper as he is. I was talking around it. I mean, well, let's face it. I was trying to say that. At times, Ricky Waters has been over-exuberant on the football field. He's cost his team. But this man loves to play. He loves to win. And look at it. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. George Seifert has had to reel him in at times, but Ricky Waters can play the game of football. He's a fine all-around back. And Larry Floyd, he brought his head coach into the 90s, so to speak. In the Detroit game, game number 5.
49ers take a timeout here preparatory to a 3rd and 3 from the 8.
Game number 5, the Detroit game, and with Floyd who got the touchdown, he gave it a dance for a rookie, and Seifert had words with me, said, come on, Coach, this is the 90s.
Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes, based in nearby Pompano Beach, floating above Joe Robbie Stadium, which opened in 1987, was the vision and was named after the late owner of the Dolphins, Joe Robbie. After so many years at the Orange Bowl, they moved up here, and it's now only, not only the home of the Dolphins, but the Florida Marlins of the National League in baseball.
Great look there. Craig Janoff, our director tonight, bringing you these wonderful pictures. Of course, Kenny Wolf producing, as usual. Super Bowl. I'm glad this game's at night. We just don't function very well during the day, do we?
We're not day drinking.
George Seifert, who I think when Deion Sanders came earlier in the year, the character of this team turned around, and we had a long meeting with Deion Sanders, and that didn't go all that well, as expressed by Deion Sanders, but he had become quite a fan of Sanders. Sanders is as hard a working football player as you would ever want. He works about as hard as he does putting on his show for you, and one of the most gifted athletes I've ever watched. Certainly, I think maybe the fastest man in this game today.
And becoming the first man ever to appear in a World Series. He played extremely well for Atlanta against Toronto a couple of years back in the Super Bowl. 3rd and 3 now after the timeout. And the Chargers blitz, but Young gets it off to Ricky Waters for the touchdown.
Well, I'll tell you, the Chargers don't blitz much. They blitzed on the Jerry Rice touchdown at the very beginning of the game. They blitzed there. I mean, Steve Young with the perfect read. I don't blame them for blitzing. We talked earlier, Bill Arnsparger can't just sit back. That is just perfect execution. Ricky Waters is what they call the hot receiver. The linebacker blitzes to his side. The man who's supposed to cover him is clear back in the end zone. Griggs comes up, but Steve Young gets it past David Griggs, right to Ricky Waters. It's just perfectly executed by the 49ers. That is why they are the best team in football.
And maybe the best offensively that has ever been in football.
There are more than just a few coaches around the NFL that think this is the finest offensive machine that's ever been assembled.
Doug Bryant moves it through. Testimony of the fact that the best offensive team ever, perhaps. Doug Bryant, the kicker, has not made anything remotely resembling a critical kick all season, or a pressure-packed kick, because they've been blowing out teams week after week after week.
That is a play that is just not that easily executed, and Young, Waters, and the rest of the members of the San Francisco offense make it look like all they're doing is playing pitch and catch in a park on a Saturday afternoon. And, of course, the job, what do you say to the hands of Bill Arnsparger? It's got to be, tells it all. I mean, how do you stop all the weapons that the 49ers can present? You don't.
Well, he's not alone. Every defensive coordinator in the league has faced the problems this year. And I guess when you look back at this regular season, the weirdest score of any regular season game had to be Philadelphia 40, San Francisco 8. You think back now and you say, how in the world did that happen?
Yeah, they were 3-2 at that point, and there were people calling for George Seifert's job, right? You can believe that as you look back to that period of time.
He was funny. Somebody asked him about a poll. They had one of those goofball polls, and something like 85% of the respondents said fire him. And they asked him about it this week, and George said, I want to thank the 15% that voted for me.
Then the next week they go into Detroit, they're trailing 14-0, and that's when you talk to the 49ers, that's when they feel they turned the season around. Steve Young beaten up, crawling off the field, and they came back to win that game 27-21, and they've been, they just kind of almost gave what a game to Minnesota, the final game of the season.
Ryan sends it down to Andre Coleman. Brings it back out to the 25-yard line. He's tackled there by McCaffrey with 4 minutes and 34 seconds remaining in the first half. Steve Young at the age of 33 at the very, very top of his game, 4 touchdown passes and a half, tying a Super Bowl mark. Doug Williams of the Redskins in a game in 1988 following the 87 season.
We got to see them both.
We did, yeah. And, the amazing thing about that game is that was the biggest come-from-behind effort in Super Bowl history. Denver actually led 10-0,
right,
and Washington won the game 42-10.
And incredibly, Timmy Smith, the running back of the Redskins, was the most valuable player there.
Right, Ricky Sanders had an unbelievable day. Natron Dean runs into a gang. Tim McDonald and others leading the charge.
Well, there's something that happens to a football game late in the season, a playoff game, when you're down by this big a score. Emotionally, it happens on both sides of the ball. You can't hardly avoid this kind of feeling. That's Junior Seau. He knows, I think, that this game is pretty well gone. And on the other side of the ball, the 49ers, you can just see them. They're bouncing all over the field, and they're going to attack. Well, they better get a first down, or Steve Young's going to have a shot at 5 touchdown passes in a half.
Second down and 8 from the 27-yard line. And the catch is made by Say, and Mark Say takes it out to the 45-yard line.
I want to correct myself. I misspoke when I said that Timmy Smith was the MVP. Timmy Smith had, 205, 204,
204, I believe.
204. But Doug Williams was the most valuable player. Mm-hmm. For those of you keeping track of the trophies at home, I want to correct myself. That was Timmy Smith's moment in the sun, though. He
switchboarded and really lighted up there.
I don't think it got to that point yet.
Well, a good call. One fleeting moment in the sun. He was a Bobby Beathard find. They give it to Mees, and on the reverse, Sean Jefferson into San Francisco territory, and he takes it to the 46. Burton Hanks makes the tackle.
Yeah!
We can be accused of hyping it in this particular instance, 28-7. I mean, they lead by 21 to the Niners, but of all the teams in the league that have shown the propensity and ability to come back, as we mentioned at the very top, it's the team in charge of those fellas running it. Bobby Ross as well. They came from 18 back on opening night against Denver, 15 against Miami, 10 against Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago. Well, who knows? From the 46. Middle screen. Eric Bieniemy handles the ball for the first time in the game, and he's off to the races. And Eric Bieniemy is out of bounds inside the 15 at the 13-yard line.
Oh, how quickly we have gone from talking about Steve Young and the possibilities of a 5th touchdown pass to now we're looking at the Chargers possibly getting some points.
Bieniemy picking up a little blitz and then releasing to a 2-man screen.
He gets the block right there.
And
points out another block and gets the first down. It's perfectly done by Bieniemy when he popped Ricky Jackson.
First down, Humphrey buys time, fabulous protection, guns it, and it's broken up. Intended for Tony Martin, and Eric Davis, the only man in the Niners secondary not going to the Pro Bowl next week, who's had a fabulous postseason. His interception and touchdown run back set the tone in the Dallas game. He created a fumble, breaks it up.
And he had a great season also, Al. He had a terrific, fabulous season, postseason. But watch this. This is good coverage. He reads the eyes, moves back into it, and is right there for the play on Tony Martin.
2-minute warning.
That last play, the attempted pass to Tony Martin. Tony Martin, this ball could have been caught. Davis, I can't tell if he touches it or not, but that ball bounces off both hands and the chest of Tony Martin. It did not look to me like Eric Davis touched it. That could have been a San Diego touchdown.
2nd and 10. Humphrey's going, and Mark Saints cannot come up with it. Half position, Merton Hanks was trailing him, but it's incomplete.
It would have been a great catch, but it was catchable, and that's 2 that appeared, even though difficult, certainly were catchable from the arm of Stan Humphries. Hank's back on the defense. He's beaten to the outside, right off the fingertips, and again, it would have been a great catch. The one that could have been caught, when you're down by this many points, should have been caught. You can't beat the 49ers without making some big plays. And those were two big plays that weren't made.
3rd and 10, and the pass is a little high, intended for Alfred Pacunu, who scored the huge touchdown against Pittsburgh, and that's incomplete. Ken McDonald with the coverage. So they go from 1st and 10 to 4th and 10, and John Carney comes in to try to kick a field goal.
And really, those were some pretty good throws by Stan Humphries that come up with nothing. That last one was just a good play by Tim McDonald. But those first two passes, one of them could have been a touchdown for San Diego. When you're a big underdog and you are playing somebody as good as the 49ers, you got to make big plays.
31-yard attempt for Carney out of Gail Gilbert's hold, and that is good. So they do come up with 3. The Charger cannon goes off. 1:44 remaining in the first half, and it is now 28-10 San Francisco.
Say again, another look. One that most certainly could have been caught. I think Mark Say would tell you, yeah, I should have caught the ball. Problem now, they have left the 49ers a lot of time on the clock. Buck 44, they could go to Tampa in a minute 44 seconds.
Tuesday night, a brand new show comes to ABC, the special preview of The Marshal, starring Jeff Fahey. Tuesday night, following Grace Under Fire. Joe Robbie Stadium on this late January Sunday evening at about 20 of 8. Temperature today up in the 70s, with a little bit of moisture, but nothing serious.
Each club has 2 timeouts remaining, so the 49ers will see what kind of yardage they get here. Deion Sanders is going back, along with Dexter Carter, back to the goal line for the 49ers, so you're going to see a little electricity if number 21 grabs. Where do you think Carter's going to try to place this? Well, he's going to try to place it towards the direction of Dexter Carter. Let's see if he can do it.
1:44 left in the half. And he does go Carter's way. Carter makes the catch at the 12-yard line. Brings it out to the 23-yard line, where he's tackled by Eric Bieniemy. Well, the 49ers tonight came out roaring, scoring on their first 3 possessions. Then Jerry Rice was back in the locker room, and they were 3-and-out with a punt. Rice came back in, not that he was necessarily that instrumental on the drive, but in fact they went to get into the end zone. 4 touchdown passes for Steve Young, and 28-10 with still a ton of time remaining, 1:38.
Yeah, right at the point of the wedge on that kickoff return by his teammate Dexter Carter. He was looking like he thought Dexter was going to run a reverse. He was so far out of it.
On the 23-yard line, Young for Jones, and he makes the catch. And he's a tight end, and not only goes over the middle and underneath, but deep down the side, and he gets out of bounds.
It's really, you sometimes you wonder if it's fair. You split Brent Jones out all the way. He's a tight end. Ricky Waters is flanked out the other direction. You've got tight ends. Look at him. That's where the split end or the flanker should be all the way.
Well, look at that line, though, Doug.
Yeah.
They're trying to cover him with David Griggs, the linebacker. So that's ludicrous.
But it's the formation that sent the Chargers haywire, because you got Jerry Rice to the inside and Jones to the outside.
Year after year, they give you more looks than any team in the league. Floyd makes the catch. They started with Bill Walsh, there's no question about that. They have really just kept the system in place every year since 1979.
That's just a brilliant move on the part of Mike Shanahan. He knows that they're going to have linebacker coverage on Jones, so isolate him. That's good stuff.
1:10 remaining in the half, and Rice makes the catch and steps out of bounds, making sure he had the first down. There is Mike Shanahan. I'll tell you this, he is number 1 on Denver's list. He is probably number 1 on Philadelphia's list. And if he showed any interest in the L.A., St. Louis, or wherever Rams, he'd be number 1 on their list.
You're his agent?
Are you I'm just telling you.
I'm some deal for you.
What you are so right. There's no question about it.
He is the hot item right now in coaching. Are you trying to say he's in a very enviable position?
That could be his agent. Second down, and first and 10 is Ricky Waters. Takes the ball down to the 29-yard line.
I know one thing, though. If Mike Shanahan becomes a head coach, it's a return to the real world.
Yeah.
When you're the offensive coordinator for the 49ers, welcome back to reality when you have to go coach somebody else.
He's already been a head coach for the Raiders. Second down and 6 now. The pass is incomplete, intended for Ricky Waters.
I'm not sure that's reality.
Yes. And while we're on the subject of Shanahan, the 49ers have said there is no question they want to keep him. And Carmen Policy said last night, he said, we're going to do everything we can to keep him with us.
Look at that. 9 yards per play, 305 yards in the first half alone, and they still have the football. Whoa.
Third down and 6 at the 49-yard line, 41-6 left. Rice in motion. The fake to Waters. And then Young throws incomplete, intended for Brent Jones, a little high.
Oh, that was poorly thrown by Steve Young. He jumped up in the air after he threw the ball. Jones would have been able to take it probably inside the 20 and improve the field goal range. Well, you picked up the first down, as a matter of fact. The field is starting to get a little wet from the rain. You saw Jerry Rice go in motion, and he fell flat on his face, and he was slow to get up. I'm not sure if he stretched himself, but it's you got to watch this. This field is getting a little bit slick with the rain.
You saw Young there. Had he been able to get that ball, and he should have,
For Brent Jones, it would have been a first down.
47-yard field goal attempt. Timeout call by the Niners with 36 seconds. Bryant's longest this year, 48.
Well, they had to kick that much out. They had, 20 attempts for the year?
We mentioned before, there have been a lack of dramatic games for the Niners this year, but they lost a close game to Kansas City. They were routed by Philadelphia, and the only other game they lost was that meaningless Monday night game at the end of the season when everything was already clinched to Minnesota. And in all of their victories, they've blown the opponents away.
Minnesota game where both of the key personnel, and particularly Steve Young, after he was sacked a couple of times, they had him out of there. Well, and also remember, early on in the season, everybody involved with the 49ers will tell you that defensively, they just did not gel. You know, that's where the free agency market was really trying to find its way. It's just not that easy to become a team just during the span of a couple of mini camps and training camps. And Ken Norton and Ricky Jackson that you're looking at right there, and Gary Plummer, these people were, you got a couple of rookies, and Woodall and Young, they just had not found their way. And Ray Rhodes said this was not a really good defensive team until the second half of that Detroit game that you talked about earlier, Frank.
Brian, a 47-yard field goal attempt. Wilmsmeyer puts it down, and the kick is short.
And back, and wide.
And wide.
No good.
And Eric.
Well, again, there's a guy. We talked earlier. He hasn't had a lot of really pressure-packed kicks, and I'm not sure that a 28-10 attempted field goal is pressure-packed. But this one was missed badly. Ooh, the laces are not where you normally expect to see them, Frank.
No, I don't know whether some kickers don't like that. Others doesn't bother them. And O'Brien,
he knew
it must bother him.
Yeah, that's where you poke your drive right into the woods on the right side of the fairway, and you know what? The minute you strike it.
Well, let's see if the Chargers, with 30 seconds and 2 timeouts, can work their way into field goal range. As Humphries throws, the catch is made. It's a 9-yard pickup to the 46-yard line. Sean Jefferson, the receiver, and timeout is called. That took 6 ticks off the clock, 24 seconds remain.
If they're thinking 6 there, kicker John Carney, his best for the season was 50 yards. He made that a couple of times. He's right on the edge of 50. How does that leave San Diego with 1 left?
1 timeout remaining. John Carney, one of the very best. He holds the record for most consecutive field goals, 29, from 1992 through the beginning of 93. That marks in jeopardy, though, when next season begins. Juan Reveiz of Minnesota begins the year with 28 in a row. So Carney, hopeful of getting in. Well, he's hopeful of getting in for an extra point is what he's hopeful of right now.
33. Ricky Jackson asking Jerry Markwright if he heard about how big a bonus he got when they won the NFC Championship game.
800 grand,
800 and change. It was somewhere around 850 something.
Good crew here tonight. Jerry Markwright, this is his 4th Super Bowl. Doing a great job. Ricky Jackson, the oldest guy in the game, will be 37 in a couple of months.
We saw him make that good play earlier in the second quarter where he chased it down from behind, showing a good burst.
2nd and 1. And Humphries throws far and cannot hold on at the 49-yard line, and 19 seconds remain. Tyrone Grayford with the coverage.
That ball came out of there really wobbling. It almost looked like somebody touched that at the line of scrimmage.
He got a finger on that, I think.
Ricky Jackson was in the vicinity.
Take a peek.
Let's take a good look at it. There's Ricky Jackson, 57.
Yep.
He did get his hand on it. We have seen punts deflected to keep on going, passes deflected to keep on going.
3rd and 1.
I don't know that means anything. We've just seen it.
Whoa! From Martin, he's out in front and broken up at the goal line. Eric Davis. Eric staying right with him as Humphries unloads, but the ball hung, and Eric was able to get back and break it up.
That's unusual, and such a strong arm on the part of Humphries.
Are they ruling that he caught that? Are they
going to give it to him, I think.
Yeah, they made
If you have possession when you go into the end zone,
Well, they're going to say this is an interception.
boy, look at how he closed it down on Martin. Martin is thinking 6 right here. Here comes Eric Davis. He tucks it away. If he has possession when he hits
The ball was intercepted in the end zone for a touchdown. Well, the ball was on the far side of Eric Davis. He hit the ground and it came out. And they give him credit for the interception. And the touchback, 49er ball at the 20.
It would be just as though you went into the end zone as a leaping running back landing in the end zone. The knee is down, and when he hits, the ball comes out.
Well, I always thought that an interception was the same as the reception. That when
You got it away.
But you've got to demonstrate control of the football. It means precious little at this point in time. Eric Davis gets the interception, and the 49ers lead by 18.
Means a lot to Eric Davis.
Yeah, it sure does.
Davis is 4th in postseason, so a frustrating half for Martin and the Chargers as they leave the field with San Francisco leading San Diego at the half. 49ers 28, Chargers 10. Our halftime show coming up after this message and a word for ABCC.